Hello everybody, welcome to the martial arts of selling. This topic that I'm going to share with you today is probably going to be a 3-part series. I'm not going to be talking about selling or sales. What I'm going to talk about is something that's very important to a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs that for some reason they overlook or don't even think about putting it in their business model. So my job is to show them why they need to do what I'm about to talk about. What am I talking about? I'm talking about how to build an effective sales team. In this video, in the first part, I'm going to draw the basic fundamentals. I'm going to talk about the parts that you need and the positions you need to build an effective sales team that when you apply these techniques, these strategies, and hire the right people, you're going to see your sales grow consistently and exponentially. However, it is a process. It is organic. It does take time, but it's the right thing to do if you really want to stay competitive and you want to be different than your competitors. So I encourage you to watch the 3-part series, buckle up, stay focused, and take action with what you're about to learn. Now, for part 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the martial arts of selling. I hope everyone's having a good Monday. I don't know about you, but I ended the week really well, and it gave me momentum for today. I'm very pumped up. I'm very excited. What I decided to do to talk about today is I'm going to get away from the selling part, and I'm going to talk about how to build an effective sales team. I'm not going to go into all of the details, but I'm going to give you enough to whet your appetite so that you can learn some things here and take some action. Okay? Now, before we dig into the topic, if you're watching this video on YouTube and you want to follow me on this channel, simply hit the subscription button below. If you like the video, smash the like button, and also do me a favor. Share your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like about it or didn't like about it so I can make the necessary changes. All right, let's dig into this topic. This is how I build my sales team and how I built my sales team when I was in Las Vegas. I'm in El Paso, Texas now, and I'm starting the process of building my sales team here. Okay? Now, for me personally, when I build a sales team and I want to build a strong team, I very rarely hire experienced salespeople. And the reason for that is because most of them have a certain way of working. And what I mean by that, some of them may have bad habits that they're not willing to learn and be open-minded to grow. Some of them may have weaknesses that they may not accept that they're weak in, so they're not willing to learn. So what I've learned to do is not spend a lot of energy and time on experienced people, but really develop salespeople from the beginning. Why? Because one, most people that don't know are receptive to learn as long as you teach them and they know that somebody's there for them. And more importantly, they like sponge. When they like it and they learn it and they learn the right way, usually those become more successful at selling than those that may have experience. Okay, so if you're looking to build a sales team or you have an existing sales team and things are not working out, maybe you can learn something from me and make some necessary changes. Okay, so here's what I recommend and here's what I do. Okay, the first thing I do is I hire 3 cold callers, 3 of them. For every 3 cold callers, I would have a closer, one closer that's really strong, but that closer must know how to cold call. It's very important because if the cold caller that's going to turn over the call runs into a problem and the closer doesn't know how to deal with it, then he's not really a closer in my book. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, here's what you need to do. When you have the 3 cold callers, I call them white belt. Now, I have a program called Martial Arts of Selling, and the strategy is what I call social media conversion strategy. So, typically, my salespeople start at the white belt level. Being a former martial artist, there's white belt, green belt, brown belt, black belt. I like to graduate them. I like to get them really strong in the cold calling phase, which I call boot camp. Because once they learn the basic fundamentals and they gain confidence and they have conviction, then they can transition into the second part, which is the green belt. Okay? Now, so you got what I call TOs. If for those of you who don't know, those are turnover calls, meaning the cold callers get on the phone, they do the grunt work, and to a certain point, when they got the prospect engaged, they turn the call over to the closer. Okay? That's what the TO stands for. So typically, within the 90-day period, the people I teach, they wind up within 90 days. The goal in 90 days is typically to get 3 cold callers to generate at least 5 qualified leads per day or 5 qualified turnovers per day. Okay? So what does that mean? How does that generate into sales? Or how does that turn into revenue or cash flow, right? So, good question. So I want you to think about this. So if you have 3 white belts, each generating within 90 days, 5 qualified leads per day. I want you to think about the impact of your business. But the question comes, where do they go to get these qualified leads? Here's what I've learned. Before I made cold calls, and I cold called today, I spoke to 15 people, I got 7 qualified leads. I just did. Okay? But I targeted the industries and the type of businesses that I can help, that would need my services. So typically when I first start training my salespeople, is I train them on the Better Business Bureau, I train them on the Google, and I train them on Yelp. Why? Because those are good leads, great leads. They're harder to get into because you might run into a secretary, or we call the gatekeeper, and not a lot of people have experience getting through the gatekeeper. So I teach that. But the reason why I train my people on these platforms is because they help you be strong. They help you become strong. It's the boot camp. I call it getting the calluses. It really sharpens you up to becoming a master closer, a dynamic salesperson. Does that make sense? So with these platforms, and they're at the white belt, right? The goal is within 90 days to get each cold caller to be at 5 leads per day, which means you have to look at how many phone calls you have to make, how many contacts you're going to make. That's the old school of doing it, but it's actually more effective now because of all of these social media platforms, which I consider modern day yellow pages. Think about it. There's more names and numbers out there that you can have access to. Not everyone's going to follow you. Not everyone's going to like your content. You have to go out there and you have to grab the business that's out there, because not everyone's going to come to you unless you're an established entity. You got a lot of followers. You got a lot of things like that. But this is what I call the grind work. Okay, so now you have 5 qualified leads per day per TO person, or what I call cold caller, right? So if you have 5 qualified leads per day, times, in the end of the day, you got 15 qualified leads per day. Now, a real good closer will be able to handle 3 cold callers, meaning being able to take turnover calls. Okay, if they're all getting TOs at the same time, then obviously you want to get a second closer in there. But not everybody learns at an accelerating pace, so it usually balances out where one of them may not be getting that many in a day, but the other one might offset the other one. So at the end of the day, is a closer should be able to manage 3 cold callers. So if you're looking at 15 qualified leads per day, the average conversion ratio through my training program, the social media conversion strategy with the martial art of selling, you're looking at an initial 30%, which means 30% on the first call close. So if you get 30% a day on 15 qualified leads per day, right? That's 4.5 customers per day. Think about that. on the initial call, which is what's called one call closing. So if you do 4.5 clients per day, let's say your average sale is $1,000, just to keep it simple. For me, I average anywhere between $2,500 to $25,000. But let's just keep it at $1,000. So you got so that's $4,500 per day. Think about that. $4,500 per day with 3 cold callers and 1 closer. And that's just within that 90-day period. So what that does is when you're that consistent and you're able to have effective cold callers, because cold calling still works on social media. I'm living proof of that. I had people 2 years ago tell me, why are you cold calling? That's out of style. They're asking me why. 2 years later, they're asking me, how are you doing it? Well, I tell them, haven't you been watching? It's a matter of mindset. It's a matter of attitude. Cold calling is an attitude. If you learn how to cold call and you're trained properly, it's like anything else. And you become good at it, the compound effect is huge. More important, the learning curve is exponential. It really is. Again, if you're not trained properly, it's like anything else, you're not going to like it. Most people don't like rejection. Most people don't like being hung up on. Even after 30 years, I got hung up on twice today. That's okay. It's part of it. I don't get offended by it. It is what it is. But I look at my percent from the people I spoke with to the leads that I got. Does that make sense? So if you're looking at $4,500 per day and you multiply that by 5 days a week, that's what you're looking at. And you control that. You get to train your people the right way. By one, you have to target the right leads on Better Business Bureau, Google, and Yelp. And when you target that, and they start to see the growth, and they like the fact that when they do a turnover, the closer closes the deal, they get paid. Let's say you pay them a salary or you pay them a spiff in addition to that, or a bonus. They get excited. They start to want to be the closer if they're trained properly. Does that make sense? So this is the first step on how to build an effective sales team. Okay? If you want more information on how to build a sales team and you need some training on that, just direct message me below. I'll get back with you in 24 hours. I'll set up a one-on-one consultation and I will teach you hands-on how to build a very effective and successful sales team through combining cold calling with social media. It's absolutely phenomenal because here's why. Technology always changes. And not every technology, when it changes, is suitable for you. However, you can use that technology without having to pay for it and use good old-fashioned cold calling to generate the leads so that you can convert those leads into sales. Because here's the bottom line, guys. Without sales, you don't have a business. You have a glorified hobby. But here's the other problem. People and businesses want to generate sales, but they don't want to do the selling. I'm here to help you. I'm here to show you there is a better way and a more effective way. It's a little bit slower. It's organically. But here's the thing. It saves you money, puts more money in your pocket, but more importantly, you become consistent at generating sales day in and day out. And the bottom line is this. It's all about the sales. If you don't have sales, like I said, you don't have a business. What you do have is a glorified hobby. Let's turn that hobby into a business and let's grow that business by developing an effective sales team. Thank you for being part of the martial art of selling. I hope this has been helpful. Again, if you like this video, smash that like button. If you want to follow me on this channel, hit the subscription button below and do me a favor. Share your sincere, honest comment, constructive criticism, Don't get vulgar because I don't accept vulgarity on my channel. Anyway, till we speak again, I say goodbye and I wish all of you much success. Take care. Bye.